So the program for today is an introduction to self-study. So I'm going to talk about things to consider and think about when you start your self-study program. Then we're going to look at just some parts of the program for the listening test, not all of it, but just to give you a flavor of what the program is like. Then we're going to look at some top tips for improving your listening. Then I'll give you a summary, and hopefully there'll be some time for me to answer your questions. Now, as you know, today's program is on listening, so I thought I'd test your listening throughout my presentation. So if you could get some paper and a pen or pencil ready to make notes as I speak, because I'm going to be testing you throughout. So get yourself something to write on. Have you got something handy? Let me know in the chat box. Great. Okay, so you've got something to write on. Lovely. Let's see who pays the most attention, I suppose. Right, let's see. We're going to first look at the important things that you need to consider when you're preparing to start your self-study program. I'm going to be talking about 5 things, 5 important points. Here's the first one. What do you think this refers to? What point am I trying to get across here? Investigating, research, Kelly says goals, Neha says objectives. Good, I think you're all on the right track. It is setting targets. This is one of the most important points. You need to be clear about what it is you want to achieve based on the time you have before the exam. Be realistic. Think about the other things you have going on in your life, your work, family commitments, and so on. Review or check the goals you've set regularly. For example, you can look at them once a week to see how much progress you've made and make changes as necessary for the following week's program. Remember, this is very personal, and the targets will vary for each person. So don't feel like you have to compete with your friends. Your circumstances are unique as you are, so plan accordingly. Okay, let's have a look at the second one. What do you think I'm thinking about here? Stephanie says place. Karen says study. Therese says environment, I think. Study, lots of ideas. Great. Yes, I'm thinking about a place to study. The place you study will also vary according to your circumstances. It doesn't need to be a separate room, although that would really be ideal. It needs to be a place where you can focus on your work or your studies without interruption. Try to find a spot, some space, no matter how small, that's only for your study. A space separate from the rest of the things going on in your home. Put all your study-related things there, your notebooks, highlighter pens, post-it notes, and so on. It would be good if there was some natural light as well. Okay, ready for the test? Here are 2 questions. I'll give you a few seconds. Pop your answers into the chat box. Excellent. Lots of answers coming through. A few more seconds. Lovely. And here are the answers. So question 1 was C. I said that it's a good idea to set targets so you can check your progress as you work. And for question 2, I suggested that you choose a place where you can concentrate. So well done to those of you who got it right. Now we're going to move on to the other 3 points. Remember to make notes as you listen. There'll be another test coming up shortly. What do you think this picture refers to? What am I thinking about here? Yeah, I think you've got it. This was an easy one. Absolutely. The time and length of study. This will be different again for everyone. Some people are better in the morning, some people are better in the afternoons, some people are work better in the evenings. There's no right time. See what works for you. You need to think about the other aspects of your life and fit your study in around them. If you can, do some practice every day. It doesn't need to be too long. A quick vocabulary exercise on the IELTS app, for example, or listening to a short podcast on your journey to work. It doesn't have to be hours and hours and hours of study in a day. Just something short will do. Okay, what about you? When do you work best? In the morning, afternoon, or evening? Don't forget, guys, I can't see the Q&A. Please put your answers into the chat box. Good. Paya said evening. Mahmoud said morning. Okay, Roland, interesting. Omer says morning. That's very interesting. Most of you seem to be morning people, unlike me. I'm not very good in the mornings, I'm afraid. I'm better in the afternoons. Oh, and a couple of evening people as well. Excellent. Listening carefully still? Okay, let's move on. Oh, Monique is nocturnal. That's great. Moving on to the next picture. What do you think I'm thinking about here? Love, yes. Support, good. Teamwork, very good. Yes, Siri, nice. Yep, Kanika, excellent. I think you're all, again, thinking along the same lines as me. Yes, this one's about getting support. Now, it can be stressful and sometimes lonely studying on your own. Talking to family and friends about your studies, your progress can help. It's also useful to talk to other people who are preparing to take IELTS. Sharing your progress, your successes, your challenges, maybe exchanging tips. These are really, really helpful. You might not have these people around you, so why not go online? Use social media, join a group, maybe a group like the British Council's official Facebook group. Are any of you part of our Facebook group? Are any of you in that group? Yes, Barak? Uh-huh. No? Jamie says no. Sophia says no. Oh, you joined this week. Great. I think my colleagues will share the link with you in the chat box. So please do join. Okay. Moving on to the final point. I hope you're still taking notes. What do you think these refer to? Well done, Stephanie. You've got it. Yeah. Okay, Farouk. Interesting. Yes, Hassan. Good. Excellent. Yep. Be kind to yourself. This is the point we pay least attention to. Don't be so hard on yourself. Be kind. Make sure you take regular breaks, especially when you're studying for a longer period. Check your progress, but focus on what you have done, not just on what you haven't. When you tick off an item from your list of targets, reward yourself. It doesn't need to be complicated. Have some of your favorite chocolate, do some meditation, watch an episode of your favorite TV program, and if you're like me, make yourself an extra special cup of coffee with all the extras. Okay, how do you relax? What do you do to give yourself a break? Yoga. Okay, Gunell does yoga as well. Very nice. Oh, some of you take a nap. Golf, that's interesting. And playing with your dog. Lovely. Okay, so get your notes ready because I'm going to show you the test question. Ready? Here it is. I want you to take a look at the summary below. It's a summary of what I have talked about so far, the 5 points, and I want you to complete the 7 gaps using just one word. I'll give you about 2 minutes. Don't forget, put your responses, put your ideas into the chat box. I can't see the Q&A. Just half a minute to go. Excellent. I can see that most of you have got similar answers. That's great. Right, let's have a look at what the gaps are. Check your answers and tell me how many you got. Oh, Mehreen got 6. Well done. Well done, Amreen. You got all of them. Excellent. Rehana got 5. Abimun got all of them. Excellent. Well done. Excellent. Good stuff. Well done, everybody. Don't worry if you missed anything. You can watch it back later when you get the link to the recording and check to see which ones you've missed. Right. I think now that we've looked at what we need to do before we start studying, we're ready to look at the listening self-study program. Let's have a look at what the aims of this program are. The aims, one of the aims is to help you understand the format of the listening test. It aims to develop your listening skills, and it provides practice for different parts of the listening test. This program will guide you towards success, and it will guide you throughout your learning. I'm going to go through the program day by day, but it's very flexible. I'll talk about how you can use it in different ways later on. So first we're going to look at day 1. You can see it on the PDF if you've downloaded it. the aims for day one is knowing about the test and also identifying your current IELTS level. It looks something like this. This is just a little snippet from the program, and there are links that will guide you to reading about the test format and checking your IELTS level. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little practice. Again, get your paper and pen or pencil ready. We're going to do a little bit of practice in a minute. I want to find out what you know about the listening test format. Now, I'm going to show you some numbers. Then you will hear some information about the test. As you listen, make a note of the numbers that you hear and note down what those numbers correspond to. For example, if you hear the number 30, write it down and then say what 30 refers to. Listen really carefully because some of the numbers have more than one answer. Are you ready? Is everyone ready? Excellent. Let's listen.
The IELTS listening test will take about 30 minutes, and you will have an extra 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet at the end. There are 4 parts to the listening test. In each part, you will hear between 1 to 4 people speaking in different situations, and you will have to answer the 40 questions as you listen. There are 10 questions for each part. You will get 1 mark for each correct answer, and good news is that there is no negative marking. This means if you don't answer correctly, you won't lose marks, so it's always good to guess if you're not sure of the answer. The listening test is the same for the academic module and the general training module. The overall score you can achieve is out of 9. The number of questions you need to answer correctly to achieve your desired score varies. But as a rough benchmark, you need to answer at least 30 questions correctly to get a 7. Remember, depending on the difficulty of the test, this can be more.
Excellent. Thank you, Aidan. Did you hear all the numbers? Yes, and some of them I think you heard more than once. Well, I definitely know you heard them more than once. So pop your ideas into the chat box. Let's see which ones you managed to pick up. Oh, very nice. Yes, Sandesh, good. Yes, Jenny. Very nice, Ahmad. Good, Mansoura. Excellent. Okay, let's see what the numbers correspond to. Have a look. So 1 refers to the number of times that the recording is played, so once or 1 time, and also 1 mark for each correct answer. Notice there are no negative marks. It's always good to guess if you're not sure of the answer because you won't lose any marks. 1 to 4 is the number of speakers, how many people you can expect to hear in each part of the test. We'll look at that in some detail in a moment. 4 refers to the number of parts. 10 is the 10 minutes transfer time if you're doing the paper-based IELTS, and you get 2 minutes if you're doing the computer delivered. And 10 questions in each part. 30 was how long the test is. Most of you got that one straight away, which was great. And also refers to how many correct answers you need for Band 7. Remember, this is just a rough guide. It can vary. So it does depend on the difficulty of the test, and 40 is the number of questions. Did you get them all right? Did you hear them all? 9 out of 10, Kioma. Well done. Good, Ariel. Excellent. Well, your listening is very good. I'm very impressed. Good stuff. Let's move on then. Let's take a look at day 2. Remember, in the program, we have it down as day 2, but you don't have to do it in consecutive days. You can do one day a week or every other day, depending on your particular circumstance. The focus of day 2 is some general listening practice, and also practice of the listening, in particular for part 1 of the test. It will look something like this. Again, this is just a little snippet to give you an idea of what the program looks like. For the general practice, you'll be guided to the BBC website, where you can listen to a short podcast. They're only 6 minutes long. You can start by choosing a topic that you're interested in, look at the vocabulary practice, and answer the questions as you listen. Remember, you can do some focused listening. What do you think I mean by focused listening? We did some focused listening just a moment ago with Aidan when you were looking at the numbers. Exactly, Ahmed. Yes. Good, Kelly. Yeah, maybe make some notes. Yes, you can focus your listening by concentrating on, say, the numbers. So as you listen, you jot down all the numbers you hear. This could be names, this could be places, or it could be topic specific vocabulary. So if you're listening to the food podcast, you could make a note of all the words that you hear related to food. You can also look at the transcript after you finish the listening practice to check what you have missed. The other place that you are also directed to in this part of the program is the Learn English website, where you can choose what to listen to according to your level. So you can listen at your own speed. Alternatively, you can start at the beginner level, A1, and move up through the levels as you progress. There are a variety of topics for each level, as well as the audio. There are worksheets that you can download, and you can do the tasks as you listen. When you've completed the worksheet, you can look at the transcript, listen again, paying attention to the points you've missed or you didn't hear. So all these are in the program for you. The second part of day 2 is the listening practice for part 1. How many people, we're going to do a little example of the kind of practice you'll be guided to in the program, but I just wanted to know what you know about part 1 of the listening test. How many people do you think will be speaking? 2, yes, exactly. Well done. Yes, Ahmed. Ramneek, not 4, Ramneek. That's a different part. It's actually 2 people. What kind of thing do you think they'll be talking about? What kind of topics? Yes, Nicholas. Yeah. Yes, Mahmoud, it's a dialogue. Yeah. Yeah, Neha. Good. Yes, it's everyday topics, general topics, usually exchanging some kind of information. There are a few points that you really need to be careful about throughout the listening test, and one of them is looking at instructions. So for this sample practice, I want you to look at the instructions. It says, complete the form below, write no more than 3 words and or a number for each answer. Okay, so how many words can I write? Can I write 2 words? Yes. Well done. Yes, Betty. Yes, Sayed. Yes, Neslihan. Yes, exactly. I can write 2 words. Can I write 1 word and 1 number? Be careful, Zahra. Read the instructions again. Yeah, well done, Ilyas. Exactly. I can write 1 word and 1 number. Can I write just 1 number? Mm-hmm. Very good. Yes, I can. Can I write 4 words? Good, Nabiha. Good, Solomlia. Excellent. Good. I can't. No, I can't write 4 words because the maximum words is 3. And the final question, what's the maximum number of items I can write altogether? Well done, Stefan. Yes, Federica. Yes, Oluwa. Great. Yep, the maximum number of items I can write is 4. So be very careful with the instructions. This is the form that we need to complete. As you can see, there are 8 gaps. So you need in the test or in your practice to think about the kind of word or the kinds of words you should listen out for to complete the form. So for gap number 1, I think it's fairly easy. We need a name. What do you think we need for gap 5? Gap 5. Very good. Yes, Karen. Yes, Galvani. Yes, we need a number. What do you think we need for gap 7? An item, Fatima says. Yep. Yep, we do need a word. What kind of word? An object, Sarah says. Yep, so something that would fit with clothes, perhaps. And what about gap 8? Yes, Marvin, a number. But what kind of number are we listening out for here? There's a clue. Yes, Catalina. Yes. Yes, Manuela, the price. Well done. Okay. So what I'd like you to do is to get your pen and paper ready again, and you're going to listen to a dialogue. It's a telephone conversation between a customer and an agent at a company which ships large boxes overseas. Are you ready? Ulas John, are you ready? Good. Let's listen.
Good morning, Packham Shipping Agents. Can I help you?
Oh yes, I'm ringing to make inquiries about sending a large box, a container, back home to New Zealand from the UK.
Yes, of course. Would you like me to try and find some quotations for you?
Yeah, that would be great, thank you.
Well, first of all, I need a few details from you.
Fine.
Can I take your name?
It's Maria Campbell.
And can you spell your surname, please?
Yes, it's Campbell.
Is that M for mother?
Yes.
Thank you. And you say that you'll be sending the box to New Zealand?
That's right.
And where would you like the box picked up from?
From college, if possible.
Yes, of course. I'll take the address down now.
It's Westall College.
Is that Westall?
Yes, college.
Westall College. And where's that?
It's Downlands Road in Bristol.
Oh, yes, I know it. And the postcode?
It's BS8 9PU.
Right. And I need to know the size.
Yes, I've measured it carefully and it's 1.5 meters long,
Right.
0.75 meters wide,
Okay.
and it's 0.5 meters high or deep.
Great. So I'll calculate the volume in a moment and get some codes for that. But first, can you tell me, very generally, what will be in the box?
Yes, there's mostly clothes,
Okay.
and there's some books.
Okay, good. Anything else?
Yes, there's also some toys.
Okay. And what is the total value, do you think, of the contents?
Well, the main costs are the clothes and the books. They'll be about £1,500, but then the toys are about another 200, so I put down 1,700.
Okay. I'll give you a little bit of time to finish off your answers. Pop them into the chat box. Oh, well done. I can see some good answers coming through. Yep, Nanny's got them. Eunice has got some. Yes, Mahmoud has got some. Okay. Let's check with the key. Here are the answers. Have a look and tell me how many you got right. How many did you get? Yeah, some of them are a little bit tricky. Well done to those of you who got all 8. Kathleen got 7. Florence got all of them. Well done. Well done, Elena. You got them all too. Couple of things to point out here in the answer key. Have a look at number 8, the answer to 8. What do you notice about the answer? Remember, the answer was the cost of the shipping, which was £1,700. But we didn't need to write the pound sign. We don't usually need the currency signs. It's not tested in IELTS, and it was also already present in the gap. If I show you the gap again, you can see that the pound sign was already there. The second thing I want to point out is the way the number is written. So you can either write it as 1,700 with a comma, you can write it as 1,700 without a comma, or you can write it as 1,700 with a gap. So all 3 of those are okay. So well done to those of you who got them right. Don't worry, again, you can listen back later and check to see the ones that you've missed. So this was just an example of the kind of practice that you will be guided to in the self-study program. So let's move on. We're moving on to day 3 now. So day 3, we have more practice for you. There's listening practice, so general listening practice, and also practice for the second part of the test, part 2. And this is again a little snippet of the program. So you're going to be guided to the BBC website where you can listen to 5-minute news bulletins. You can choose to listen to the latest news from the World Service, or if you have time, you can listen to more than one or listen throughout the day. Look at the instructions that you're given for how to do or use this website in the program. The other thing that the other place you'll be directed to is the IELTS preparation app. Have you got the app? Have you downloaded the app? No, Eunice? Oh, I highly recommend it if you haven't done so already. So do go and download it if you haven't yet. Here's what it looks like. So in the program, you'll be guided to the listening section where you can do some practice for various parts of the test. The link will be coming up at the end, and also it's in your program. Okay, so that's day 3. Now we're going to take a look at day 4. What do you think happens on day 4? Yes, there's more practice. So practice for your general listening, and also practice for the test, this time part 3. Again, here's a little snippet of what it looks like in your program, and I'm just going to run through some parts of it with you. So you'll be directed to the Learn English website. Here you can choose a topic at your own level. When you've chosen what you're going to listen to, download the worksheet. This is what it looks like. There is some vocabulary practice that you can do before the listening task. Then there are some tasks that you need to complete as you listen. After that, when you've finished the listening and checked the answer key, you can look through the transcript to see what you have missed or didn't hear. You can do that for all the levels on this website. In the guide, you're also directed to do some listening practice on part 3. Now, part 3, how many people do you think we'll hear in part 3, or how many people do you expect to hear? Close, Stephanie. Yes, Sarah, close again. Yes, Galvani's got it right. It's 2 to 4 people, so you'll hear at least 2 and at most 4. That's what the 1 to 4 refer to in the practice we did earlier. What kind of thing do you think they'll be talking about in this dialogue? Will it be everyday topics? Not the news, Esperance. Yes, Hamza, academic topics. So it's different to part 1 in that it's in an academic setting. Again, what's really important is understanding the instructions. So I'm going to show you a sample practice for us to do together. We're going to do a little practice of part 3. So this is the question, and I'd like you to take a look and tell me, how many questions do we have to answer here? Very good. Yes, Kalina. Yes, Aitakin. Yes, there are 5, 21 to 25. Excellent. What do I need to write next to the number? What should I write? Very good. Yes, Fatima, a letter. Yes, Rehana, exactly. How many times can I write the letter A? Can I write the letter A more than once? Can I write it more than once? Yes, I can. Can I write the letter B more than once? Yes, I can. Good. And can I write the letter C more than once? Excellent. Yep, you've got the idea. So now we're going to listen to a university student talking to their tutor. As you listen, write the letters A, B, or C next to each number. Are you ready? Let me know if you're ready. Excellent. Bushra's ready. And so are most of you. Yes, many of you. Excellent. Let's listen.
Come in. Oh, hello, Jack. Have a seat. Right. You said you wanted to see me to talk about your options next semester.
That's right. We have to decide by the end of next week. Really, I'd like to do all 5 options, but we have to choose 2, don't we?
Yes, but the choice depends on your major to some extent. You're majoring in communication studies, aren't you?
That's right.
Okay, so for example, the media studies option will cover quite a lot of the same area you did in the core module on mass communications this semester. Development of the media through the last 2 centuries in relation to political and social issues.
Well, that was interesting, but I've decided I'd rather do something completely new. There's a women's study option, isn't there?
Yes, Women in Power. Again, it has a historical focus. It aims to contextualize women's studies by looking at the legal and social situation in the 19th and early 20th century.
So it would be useful if I intended to specialize in women's studies, but I'm not sure I do actually.
Well, it might still be useful to give you an idea of the issues involved. It's taught by Dr. Steed.
Oh, really? I'll sign up for that then. What about the option on culture and society?
That addresses the historical debate on the place of culture since the Industrial Revolution in Britain.
So a historical focus again?
Do I get the message you're not so keen on history?
Well, it's just we seem to have done quite a lot this semester. Anyway, I'll think about that one.
Okay. If you're interested in a course focusing on current issues, there's the option on identity and popular culture. That approaches the subject through things like contemporary film, adverts, soap operas, and so on.
Oh, that sounds interesting. Can you tell me who runs it?
Well, it's normally Dr. Stevens, but he's on sabbatical next semester, so I'm not sure who'll be running it. It should be decided by next week, though.
Right. Well, I might wait until then to decide. And the last option is Introduction to Cultural Theory, isn't it? I'm quite interested in that too. I was talking to one of the second year students and she said it was really useful. It made a lot of things fall into place.
Yes, but in fact, in your major, you'll have covered a lot of that already in Communications 102. So that might be less useful than some of the others.
Oh, I'll forget about that one then.
But now, while you're here, we could also discuss how you're getting on with your core module assignment.
Lovely, thank you very much. Let's have your answers in the chat box. Great stuff. It was a bit tricky and yeah, some of you had some connection problems, but I think most of you are on the right track. Let's have a look at the answers. Here are the answers. Do check and let me know how many you've got. Don't worry if you missed anything. You can come back to it at the end later when you get the recording, and you can listen back and see which ones you've missed. Well done, Ahmad. You got 4. Good, Mohit. All right. Excellent. Sophia got 5. Very excited. Well done. Did you recognize any of the voices you've heard so far apart from mine? Yes, they were the Avengers. Well done to those of you who did recognize my amazing colleagues. Thank you so much for doing that for us today. Okay, now we're going to move on to the last day as we're running out of time. So the last day, more of the same, more listening practice, more general listening practice, and more test practice, this time focusing on test part 4. This is the part that most test takers have problems with, part 4. It's usually because it is a bit perhaps faster than the other parts. It is the most difficult. The vocabulary is more complex, and it's a lecture type monologue. So the practice on this day is focused around that. Again, here's a little snippet. So you can go to the Learn English website and take a look at the introduction to a lecture. So that's the listening task there. The program guides you to that spot. Again, you can download the worksheet as I showed you before, do the pre-listening activity, which is usually vocabulary based. Then do the tasks as you listen, check with the answer key, and then take a look at the transcript. And that's kind of the pattern for this website. You're also guided to some TED Talks, which are great. Do you listen to TED Talks? Good, Wafa does as well. Yeah, they're great. So you can listen according to the topic that you're interested in, or according to the speaker that you particularly like or enjoy listening to. Oh, I'm glad so many of you do listen. They are very good. So you can listen again as you're doing other things around the home, or you're traveling on your way to and from work, and so on. So that was a quick overview of the 5 days listening self-study program. Just a reminder of some top tips for the listening. Try to listen to something in English as often as possible, a little every day if you can. Listen to a wide variety of topics. Build up your listening. Start by listening to short clips, like the ones in the program. Some are only 5 minutes, some are 6 minutes long. Also, you can start at a lower level as well. Listen to the audio clips more than once. Note down what you missed the first time. Remember, you can do focused listening as well. So making a note of names, numbers, topic-specific vocabulary that you hear. And always use a transcript to help you if you have a transcript at hand, to see what you've missed and perhaps to check pronunciation of some words that you didn't pick up. And finally, just a summary of what we talked about in terms of self-study in general. Remember to get ready. Remember to get everything in place. Put everything in place. Get your program ready. Set your targets. Get your place or your corner that you're going to study ready. Think about your treats, how you're going to treat yourself. Remember, the self-study programs are very flexible. You don't have to do them as we have suggested, doing different practice every day. You can combine them with the other skills. For example, you could do the listening on one day and then do some reading on the second day. An alternative might be to do some reading in the morning, and then do some writing in the afternoon. So you can really use the guide to fit in around what you need and what you need to achieve. Practice a little, but practice often. I think one of the temptations is to do hours and hours and hours of practice. And that can be very tiring. It can also be demotivating, and also you might lose concentration. So do a little, but do it often. And finally, be kind. Be kind to yourself. Don't push yourself too hard. Don't be too negative about what you haven't managed to do. Always focus on the positive. Okay, I'm going to pop over to the chat box for a couple of minutes before I share the resource slide with you. If you could maybe let us know what you found useful or what you liked about the webinar today in the chat box, that would be really helpful. Okay, I'm going to try and get to the chat box. Let's see what questions still remain. Mushira says, can I get the PDF for study days, please? Yes, Mushira, it should have come to you in an email. If you haven't got it already, then my colleagues have posted it in the chat box. You can download it there. I've answered that one. Can I download the IELTS Prep app on a PC? That's a very good question, Rehane, and the answer is I'm not sure. I'll ask my colleagues about that and get back to you. Is it possible? Does guys, do you know if you can download the app onto the PC? Okay. Ramnik, how to improve vocabulary? Well, one of the ways is you can see in the program is to do the topic specific vocabulary practices before you do listening. You can have a go on the apps that we've got. I'll tell you about some apps coming up in a minute. I'm afraid you can't download, Rehana. This answers your question as well. You can't download any of the apps onto a PC. They are mobile apps. So do a little bit of practice every day if you can. Ramnik says, for practice, listening to English news channel will work. Well, Ramnik, anything you listen to in English is useful. It's a good idea to try and listen to different accents if you can. So native accents, so British, American, Australian, New Zealand, Canadian, and so on. A good place is BBC World. They have a variety of presenters with different accents, and also the Al Jazeera news channel. They have a variety of presenters with different accents as well. I'm really, really sorry that I don't have time to answer any more questions. I think we spent the time well doing practice together. If you still have any remaining questions, I'll guide you to the Facebook page that we have. The link rather has been posted in the chat box for you. Come and join us there. If you still have any questions, my colleagues are there. The IELTS experts are there to answer your queries and point you in the right direction. Also, if you go to takeielts.org, takeielts.org is your one-stop shop. If you need anything, go to takeielts.org. You'll definitely find it there. You can do the free computer-delivered test there to see what the computer-delivered test is like, if you're thinking about doing it that way. You can also access Road to IELTS. There are downloadable tests, activities, hints and tips. We've also got a 3-week course that we run in conjunction with Future Learn, and it's a free 3-week course, so do sign up for that as well. Again, it will be on the Facebook page. The links will be there. And the apps that I was telling you about, the Prep app for IELTS and the IELTS Word Power app and Word Ready app. If you like to have paper, then you can get the books and study guides from your nearest British Council office. And finally, if you're interested in doing the IELTS indicator, have a look at the link there. So again, don't worry if you've missed anything. You can watch this all back later and do the practices again. Thank you so much for your time. It was lovely spending the afternoon with you all. Enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world, and good luck with your exam preparation. Take care, everyone. Bye.